Hey, what's up guys? In the workshop today for a sharpening video. It is so nice to finally get this stuff back outside. We're still down in the minuses here today, so it's not real warm yet, but it's warm enough that water won't freeze, which is all we need for stuff not to be freezing, and we can make it from there. This is my Edge Pro Apex. I had the Apex 4 kit come there a little while ago, and I absolutely have been loving it. I did have a few critiques, as I mentioned in the first video. If you want to check that out, go see if I get it right this time. Here, click on this link and check out that video. But let's talk a little bit about right now, because I have a couple new products here to hopefully address that issue. I haven't tried them yet, so I'm not entirely sure. But before I even mention that, we have an exciting video today. We're going to be doing some sharpening, of course, so that's always exciting. But I have a really special knife here. While visiting Ontario for my brother-in-law's wedding, I picked up this. Just stumbled upon it in an antique store, and it is a beautiful vintage hunting blade. It wasn't in this good a condition when I got it. I did a mild restoration, not a lot. We had the bolster was plied here, so I bent that back because that was a nice clean brass. Other than that, mostly just nicked up, dull, tarnished. But you can see right now it is looking so beautiful. This is a Rich A. Herder made in Solingen, Germany. And it is such a beautiful blade. I bought it. I figured I'd restore it and sell it. I still might consider that. So if someone's interested in buying this, you can email me at the email on the screen there now. But there is no edge whatsoever on this blade. Okay, I cleaned it up, restored it, but I didn't put an edge on it yet. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Now, getting back to the sharpening stuff, the stuff you're here to see, we have a set of stones here that comes with the Apex 4 kit. 120, 220, 4, 6, and 1000 grit stone. These all work on a lovely dovetail system that I showed in the last video. Once you get past that, you have these... see if I can show you real quick. You have these polishing tapes, and they are 2,000, 3,000, and 6,000, I believe. I'm pretty positive that's what they are, if I remember correctly. And they go on these blank billets. Now, they are wonderful polishing tapes. I said in the last video, I wish I knew where you could get these because they're so awesome. They stick so great, yet you can remove them, put them back on again. The glue lasts... the glue never seems to lose stick for some reason. I don't know what kind of out of this world product it is, but it's really awesome. You just peel off the back, stick them on, and you have these perfect flat billets. The beautiful thing about these is that you will always have a perfectly flat stone, because you don't never actually wear any stone itself. These will eventually hollow. You need to keep them level, right? You never have that problem with these. Now, my issue with these is that I like the feel of a traditional stone. These do feel a little bit different, although they cut like crazy. They work really, really well. I don't like the feel of them as well as working with a stone, and these stones feel so good. They're a really high quality synthetic whetstone, and they all just feel so great. The 1000 is just buttery smooth, but cut so well. Whatever matrix is in there, whatever cutting particle, is really nice stuff. And I miss that feeling when I switch over to these tapes. I miss the feeling of the stone. What I have here is Edge Pro's way to address that. So these are their diamond matrix stones. Now, when I first heard about them, I talked with a guy at Edge Pro. When he mentioned diamond, I said, okay, and you guys know this as well. I've talked about it before on this channel. I do not like diamond stones, because what basically you get is a steel plate like this, and they paste a little layer of diamond on there, like those DMT stones. And then after you sharpen for a little while, all that grit gets hooked out of the glue. Then you're left with a steel plate. It's garbage. I hate those diamond stones. I just don't like it. These are diamond matrix stones. Totally different. What you have is a diamond particle placed in a block just the same as you would have any other synthetic stone. So these are just like roughly, I guess, 1/8 inch thick diamond matrix. So they're really tough. They should cut well, and you won't just wear it off of the plate. It's a solid chunk of diamond paste, or however it works. I don't know all the science behind it, how these are made, but they're super nice, I have to say. Now the grits we have here are 650, so that's nice to work in with this set. But then instead of using these tapes now, we're going to use a 2300 and a 4000. Now, being how these are diamond matrix, as I said, they're pretty expensive. So that is the drawback. You might have been wondering, well, why didn't I just get these diamond matrix stones when I got the kit? These aren't cheap. And of course you wouldn't expect them to be. The type of material, the price goes up big time. But if you want to look into them, go have a look. If you want to do some reading, we're going to do a little test run here now for the first time on this beautiful knife. So let's set up our guide here right quick. Oh, this knife has a nice straight reference face there. That's going to make this much nicer. Set that guide, bring it back just a little bit more. There we go. Crank it down, and we are ready to go. We're going to start out with, I think we best go down to our 120 grit stone just to get started. Why not? Move things along a little more quickly. Let's get some water on there. And remember, I said last time, I always just throw a little bit of water on the one sitting to the side as well, so they can start drinking in that water. And now we can go to work. Once I set my guide, yikes. Let's go up to good old yellow. That's my favorite. I use the red on my kitchen knives. It gives me a real shallow angle. Ooh, that 120 cuts like the devil, I tell you. Okay, just finishing up with the 400 here, and I'm going to go over to that 650 grit diamond matrix stone. Very excited to try it out. I'm not going to lie, it's taken a little while so far to get up to where we are now, because I discovered several issues with the knife. First of all, I think the tip, I didn't notice when I bought it, but I think the tip, a very small amount, might have been broken off at some point, and because of that I needed to reprofile it. Once I started going with that 120 grit stone, I realized that the thickness here at the tip was at like literally the thickness of a dime, even closer to a nickel. So I had to run over to the belt grinder real quick and just take a chunk of steel out of there. I could have done it with a 120, but I just wanted to make it a little bit quicker. Then, of course, I had to work a little bit harder with the 120 to get a nice bevel there. So now you can see we have the bevel goes back a few extra mils there compared to the rest of the blade. But it's looking great, and we have finally a fully profiled bevel. Just a lovely shape, and we are going over, like I said, to that 600 grit diamond matrix stone. Now I don't think it'll take in any water, but I'm going to use a little bit of water on the surface anyways, just to see. I don't know a lot about these stones yet, so it's going to be a bit of a learning game for me. Let's just get started here and see how she feels. Wow, that has quite a bit of bite, and I can see the black rubbing off where it's removing steel. I mean, we all know that diamond stones tend to cut faster than your plain old silicon carbide stone. And this certainly does cut quickly. It does feel a little bit different than the silicon carbide. It has a different feeling. It feels like the stone is really hard. That's kind of the feedback it's giving me in my hand back here. Like the stone is really hard. kind of like that ceramic feeling. Like when you work with a silicon carbide stone, you can almost, it's almost like a velvety softness. It's hard to explain, but I almost get like a velvety softness to the texture. Of course it is hard, we know that, but it's just the way it interacts with the steel, it gives me that kind of feeling. But this here feels harder, like a more brittle feeling. So just jumped over to the 2300 here, and I just started with it. I went straight from the 650 diamond to the 2300 diamond, just because diamond is really capable. It cuts fast, and I really wanted to push it and see how well it would fill that gap. This 2300 feels amazing. In my opinion, better than the 650. I'm not sure why, but this has that velvety, almost suction onto the steel kind of feeling. Oh, it's just so silky smooth. I love it. Feels great. And to have a 2300 grit stone cut this fast is pretty wild. That is the beauty about diamond that you can't really deny, is that with any diamond, even the stuff like the types that I said I didn't like, when it works, when it's working, when it's new, man, you can't argue with how well it cuts, how well it works. It is viciously fast. It's just so efficient at cutting, especially if you're working with harder steels. And that's something to think about too. If you're wondering, you know, if it's worth moving up from the sanding pads or the tapes, polishing tapes, up to these diamond stones. If you're working with a lot of real hard steels, might be something to think about. These diamond stones for sure are going to handle your steels like S30V, S90V, S110, the real hard crucible steels, LMAX. There's so many different types of steels now. I don't keep up with it anymore because it's somewhat irrelevant to me. I don't care about it, but that is a beautiful stone. Now from the 2300 to the 4000, this shouldn't be as big of a jump. In hindsight, I should have, I think, went with the 1000, just threw my 1000 in between or in after the 650 diamond. Our result is going to end up probably the same, but would have went a little faster, I think, if we had to throw in the 1000 there. Now let's see how this one feels. That's beautiful. It's astounding how well or how much a 4000 grit diamond stone bites. I mean, you can just feel it grabbing the steel. And that, once you get up around 4000, usually with like a silicon carbide stone, you don't get this much bite. The diamond stones are a little more aggressive, so they do work faster, they're tougher. I'm just, guys, what it comes down to with these diamond matrix stones here is how they stand the test of time, because that is the downfall that I've had with diamond stones in the past. They just don't last. These, though, are a whole different ballgame, like we explained. They are nothing like the diamond stones that I've tried in the past. And if the way these are designed in theory is exactly how they are, then they should be winners. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll keep you all updated on how they're wearing, how they're performing after a few dozen knives. That's why you should subscribe to this channel, so you can get the updates you want and need. If you go ahead and hit that like button right about now. That would be awesome as well. So that's the results right off that 4,000. That's with making the jump that we made, or the jumps plural that we made. I'm going to go over the 6,000 polishing tape now. It's completely unnecessary. This thing is insanely sharp. If you could touch that edge and feel how it grabs your flesh, it's hard to reproduce an edge like this with freehand, because with freehand there's always a level of convexing, even just the slightest amount, but you get a perfect V edge, two flat planes, and when those two flat planes come together, it just feels different. I mean, the edge is just, it's just different. Someone asked me in the last Edge Pro sharpening video, do I still use a strop? Do I still strap after using the Edge Pro? The answer is yes. I have a rough-sided strap here with a little bit of rouge on it. Now, I will also say it's completely unnecessary. The level of edge we're achieving here is so far beyond what's necessary or needed for any normal human task, but it's just so addicting. The results have been 100% consistent from what I've seen so far. I mean, it's just every time you get the same mind-bending edge. Let me see here if I can find something to test it. Let's try, this is some clear, wow, like packaging. That is not an easy thing to do. It's super light duty plastic here. And just look at what we're doing to it. Let's see if I can go in the top, the open edge here. Oh yeah, just, I mean, that's absolutely incredible results to be able to do that. That's something else. There's a polish we got with the 6,000 grit, of course, and then the little bit of stropping. The stropping is very minimal. It's mostly just to clean up right at the apex, if that even needed to be done. But that's our edge on this beautiful, beautiful hunting knife made in Slingen, Germany. Hope you guys liked the video. Hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next one.